All right, let's see what's going on when it comes to love. Out of the Singles and Relationship Oracle deck. Holy Spirit, let us know what is taking place within the collective. What are you drawing our attention towards? All right, we got criticizing. It says criticizing your partner is driving them away. Focus on their good qualities. All right, so somebody is being critical in a connection. Holy Spirit, tell us more. We got too passive and unworthy. Take initiative to meet someone and to keep the passion ignited. You deserve an amazing relationship. Take steps to heal doubts about yourself. Okay, so Spirit is saying that there's a new approach that's needed in this relationship. Somebody is being encouraged to stand up for themselves and to evaluate the way that they see themselves and what it is that they're willing to tolerate. There could be some type of shift that this person is awakening to, that they're no longer willing to, deal with this type of verbal abuse that they could be facing. But there's definitely some new beliefs that are being evaluated here about this person's self-image, and how they see themselves and why it is that they are receiving this type of treatment from the person that they're in a relationship with. Because what this is giving me is that this person is actually mirroring to them how they feel about themselves. Even though they may not necessarily hate themselves or anything like that, they may be mirroring back to them their own self-limiting beliefs or thought patterns. Holy Spirit, tell us more. We got fated to be alone, which came out in the challenge position. It says you gave up on love because you think you are meant to be alone. It's not true. So this could be what the collective is going through right now, currently addressing wounds or outdated beliefs about what it is that you deserve, what it is that is really meant for you. You could have gone through a phase where it's like you've been single for so long now, you've gotten used to being alone, and since you haven't found a partner that you would like, there's that question that lingers whether or not you're meant to just be by yourself. And with this coming out in the challenge position, some of you could be analyzing that question like, am I just meant to be by myself? Is love or a relationship really part of my journey? We got not talking. You aren't communicating your needs clearly. You need to discuss how you feel. All right. And for those that are in a relationship dealing with someone that, is verbally critical, Spirit is saying that opening up, having a conversation and becoming more verbal about what your needs are is what's going to shift the dynamic and may help to transform the relationship in a new way that you need. The number 909 is significant. Yeah, we got pent up anger. It says you have unresolved feelings from your past that make you resentful toward others. Yeah, so it's like developed a pattern of holding back, refraining from opening up. This is giving me shutdown. When this person feels uncomfortable or deals with conflict or confrontation, they may ultimately to this passivity where they don't say much. And as a result, all it leads to is resentment. All it leads to is this person taking their emotions out on other people, in the wrong moments. Or it's showing up in different ways in their relationship. Take it as it resonates. Holy Spirit, tell us more. We got being guarded, which came out on the floor in the reverse. So there's a need to drop guards here. It says you are lonely because you're aloof. Trust others and let them into your heart. So there's a need to release defensiveness. For the single collective, there may be like a shift in your perspective and how you show up in relationships and how receptive you are to love in order for love to take hold in your reality. And then for those that are in a relationship, this is giving me reaching out for support, not feeling like you have to handle everything yourself or if you feel isolated in your relationship, finding some people to, kind of get what it is that you need off your chest, and even opening up in the relationship to break out of this mold where you have to keep everything inside, where it's like things are just bottling up until you reach a breaking point, is what this is giving me. At the bottom of the deck, we've got eye candy. It says beauty fades. Choose someone for their inner beauty and personality. Vulnerable judgment. You cannot experience true intimacy unless you open your heart and be yourself. And don't be too quick to count someone out. Be open and give them a fair chance. Unavailable. Yeah, so there's this energy of seeing things on a surface level. That could have been initially what attracted one another to each other in this relationship, was based on what it is that you saw, but underneath there was a level of vulnerability. I feel like this connection started on not so much of a healed note. There were things that needed to be worked through, and as a result, a part of the lesson within this relationship is learning to use discernment. Because the person that's in this relationship that's critical is someone that's also unavailable. This person isn't emotionally open enough to really meet this person that they're judging on the same level. This is giving me codependent and narcissist. Somebody that's only focused on their needs and what it is that they're wanting, that they're not even seeing the person that they're standing in a relationship with. They're not even able to acknowledge what their needs are because they're so focused on themselves. So they don't even care. But underneath unavailable, we have addiction, and then we have not committed. So there's like this resistance to commitment, maybe because it's what feels comfortable. Because underneath, there's this pattern of feeling unworthy. So therefore, until this unworthiness is transmuted into more of a self-love and acceptance, relationships with people that are unavailable are the ones that this person is attracting or will attract. So I feel like there's an opportunity to shift this mindset, because I feel like there's a reflection on this piece, fated to be alone. Why those questions coming up as to, why am I in this situation? Is this really what I want for myself? And for those that are single, shifting more into a place where these patterns are in the past, and what's able to come in is someone that's available. Is relationships that aren't hard but are easy, and you aren't in a position where you're giving more than what it is that you're receiving, because that's where the imbalance comes into play. One is not giving enough, the other one maybe trying to overcompensate. What is the overall message in this situation, Holy Spirit? Rushing. It says you can't hurry love. The right one is coming in perfect divine timing. All right, so Spirit is saying for the singles to continue to be patient, to take your time when it comes to seeking out love, and know that the right person and divine love will meet you where you are when it's meant to. And then for those that are in a relationship, I feel like this is the lesson of not rushing into things too quickly, making sure you take your time to get to know people, being discerning, and continuing to be the good person that you are, continuing to have the love that you do have, but just being discerning about who it is that you share it with. It says love's the answer. Love won't solve your problems. You need to work on being independent. So also, like I said, there's this energy of cultivating love within self and not throwing pearls to swine. All right, and the last card we got coming out is demanding, which came out of reverse. It says you set impossible standards for your partner to meet. Be less demanding. Yeah, and this is giving me keeping your expectations, knowing what it is that you want and what it is that you won't stand for, but also not losing yourself in the process of trying to keep a relationship. So those are the messages that are coming through. Take these messages as they resonate. Whatever doesn't resonate, leave behind. If this did resonate with you, drop a yellow heart in the comment section. I appreciate you listening, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.